Greetings, sports fans. We are the Sports Kings from Queens. I'm Gino, joined by my co-hosts Kevin and Darren. Today's Wednesday, April 16th. This is episode 165. Please catch us wherever you get your podcast. Like, subscribe. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. Take a look at some of our videos. We got stuff rolling through every week. Be sure to leave us a comment, a question. We'll get back to you. Tonight, we go around the world of sports. We're going to start it off with a tradition like no other. That's right, the Masters. And Nance said it on Sunday. Rory has his masterpiece. He ends a 11-year majors drought, winning in the first sudden death hole against Justin Rose. After choking a 4-foot putt to win on the 18th hole, he completes the career Grand Slam. He becomes only a sixth golfer to do it. Gene Saracen, Ben Hogan, Gary Player, Jack Nicholson, Tiger Woods, and now Rory McIlroy. It's a very exclusive company. It's a $4.2 million win for him in money, but the money doesn't mean anything for him at this point. It's the win he needed. He finally gets a majors win. Kev?
Gino, Jack Nicholson, great actor. I don't think he's ever won a major.
It would be Jack Nicholson.
I said right. Nicholson?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Nicholas, of course.
We said it last week on the podcast. There's no reason for Rory to lose this one, and he tried everything he could to lose on the back nine. Thursday he goes out there, and it looks like he's putting up a really good round. He's 4 under, and then winds up 2 double bogeys down the stretch, puts 1 in Race Creek, winds up with a Geneva par 72. Still in it, 6-back. Justin Rose put up a 7-back, I should say. Justin Rose put up a 65 first round. He was great on Thursday. But Rory, to his credit, bounced back, shot 66 Friday and Saturday. Got himself to the lead. He had a 2-shot lead going into Sunday against DeChambeau. Opens up first hole, double bogey. Second hole, he parred the par 5. DeChambeau birdied it, and all of a sudden, Rory's down by 1. But then Rory, to his credit, recovered. He birdied 3, 4, 9, and 10, gave himself a little bit of the cushion. Bogey on 11, that same end corner. Darren, we know 11. Is bogey awful there?
No.
That happens,
13.
13. He lays up. He played
it safe. That's why it's so funny. He played it safe.
He plays safe. He never plays it safe. He always goes for everything. He lays up to 97 yards.
And plop.
And he mishit it.
And puts it in the water.
He mishit it. It wasn't even like he came up short or anything. He literally just mishit it because he hit it about 30 yards right of where he was aiming.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. He was just trying to hit the center of the green. And you're like, run on to me.
You say you lay up, you're nice position, nice wedge, put it on the green, 2-putt, walk away with your par. Nope, double bogey. Then he bogeys 14, and now he's leaking oil, every cliche you could think of. Then he gets to 15 on the second shot at 15. That hook around the trees.
Perfect.
Amazing.
Perfect. Last Sophie on the green, leaves himself a makeable eagle.
We've all hit that shot, but by accident and nowhere near a green. Anyway, we've all hooked it that much, but never on
never on purpose.
Oh God!
I thought if he hit I thought the eagle putt. If he buried that one, tournament over right there. He birdied, still kept it alive. Birdied 17, which I thought was another thing that won him the tournament. Then he's on the fairway, 125 yards on the 18, puts in the sand. Could not get up and down. Meanwhile, Justin Rose,
great sand shot, by the way. Great sand shot. Gave himself 4 feet.
Terrific.
To win it, and he didn't even touch the cup.
Yep. In the meantime,
he pulled it left, I should say.
In the meantime, Justin Rose with 10 birdies, 4 bogeys, shoots at 66. DeChambeau falls apart. He wound up bogeying 3, 4, a double on 11, a bogey on 12 to shoot himself out of it. Some of the other guys up close, Connor shot 75. Larry shot 81. I mean, Patrick Reed shoots a great round, but he was too far back. Scheffler just never got anything going. He just stayed where he was. I mean, it was Rose that made a great recovery after shooting 75 on Saturday, put himself in position, gets himself into the playoff, and Rory has the same exact shot, same exact yardage from the fairway on 18. This time puts it close enough. Rose gets the par. Rory steps up, drains the birdie putt. The emotions come out, and he wins the Masters.
Yep.
And, the only thing I could say is that I think most people were rooting for Rory. Nobody was rooting against Rose.
He's a classy guy. No one dislikes Joe.
And the reaction of Rose afterwards, I mean, he backed off. He let Rory have his moment. And what's the first thing he does? He comes up, he congratulates him, this big hug.
Mhm.
He knows how much this meant to Rory.
Oh, absolutely.
And, pure class by Rose. McIlroy finally does it. And I think this takes all the pressure off. The major drought is over. He's got his career Grand Slam. This could free up Rory to win a couple more majors here.
He could. He's 35 years old.
Yeah, he's still young in golf.
He's been in golf forever, but he's 35.
Yeah. And how many guys still win, a couple of majors, 35 to 42, say?
A lot. It definitely takes the albatross off his back, so to speak.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Darren, what are your thoughts?
Well, again, you covered a lot. Crazy final day, crazy week, actually. 3 eagles, 4 double bogeys. No one with 4 double bogeys had ever won the Masters before.
Yep.
Until this one, right? DeChambeau did what I thought he was going to do the whole week.
Choked.
But he waited till Sunday. I don't like him when he has to pick spots and get distance right. I like him when he gets to outdrive people. And even actually won. He tanked one. And both him and Rory ended up in the sand. And DeChambeau crushed his. He's like, a little wind got me. And it was like watching Tin Cup for a second. But his popularity has grown so tremendously because he is such a fan favorite now. DeChambeau is becoming beloved because of his social media, and he high fives every fan, and he's out there very loose. Actually went on to the tee second to make sure that Rory could feel his emotion. I thought it was pretty good, actually, pretty smart. Like you said about Scheffler, he battled all weekend. He just couldn't get it together. He would hit a big putt, but then he would just have trouble with a mid-iron or something like that. But he tried. He only finished 3 strokes out for a guy that did not play well. Just put in perspective how good Scheffler is. Rose had the hiccups early on 4 and 5. That set him back. He was 6 strokes back at that point, and then made his run to give Rose the credit he deserves. And then the bogey on 17 really killed him because of Tiger. Rory gets his birdie. So used to assuming Tiger does these things.
Yeah.
Rory gets the birdie and the bogey, and they get into it. Reed has the eagle on 17, but if you look at him on 13, he has the short putt for birdie, misses it completely, then misses the tap in on the way back. Those 2 strokes cost him the playoff. And you said it right. He was waved back. But if he doesn't blow 13, I mean, no one expects him to hit the shot in 17.
Oh, no.
He's in the fairway. But he could have been in the playoff. And the one guy that I'll sit there and say looks the prettiest out there right now is Oberg. Just effortless.
Yep.
The ball just goes. He's smiling the whole time. And then he tanks 17 and 18 because he's within 1 stroke. And that triple bogey on 18 cost him $514,500 in prize money.
Yeah.
That's what it cost him. He lost $500,000 because he tripled on 18. And you're like, oh, my God. But the one thing I'll say is that there's something about him that you just enjoy watching with him. Then at the end, little credit to Nance and Immelman, 46 words in 7 minutes. They let the emotion take control. They didn't talk, which was great.
Yep.
One of the coolest things I saw, remember, you saw him hug the wife and the kid and all that. And at the end, he hugged this other woman for a long time. You know who that was?
No.
Justin Rose's wife.
Wow.
You want to talk about class from both him and Rose and that family? That was Justin Rose's wife he embraced at the end when nobody knew who that woman was.
Wow.
That's amazing. That's how much these guys love each other. I'm just saying.
Yep.
Another quick point. Just on Nick Dunlap. Shoots a 90 on the first day.
Yeah.
21-year-old kid. Doesn't drop out like everybody else does when they shoot a 90. He stays.
And
shoots a 71 on day 2.
Breaks par. Yep.
Breaks par. 21-year-old kid earned the respect of a lot of the tour members, particularly Billy Horschel went out there, praised him, talked about how karma's going to help this kid down along the way for staying in it. Thought it was a nice little touch that you wouldn't talk about the guy that finished near last, but really a great moment. 2 other quick Masters things, guys, okay? One I talk about every year, but one I'm going to talk about for the first time. This is what Rory gets, okay? He gets the custom fit green jacket, a record $4.2 million of prize money, which you pointed out already, which doesn't mean anything to him, but it does. Honorary membership to Augusta National, a gold medal and replica Masters trophy, a lifetime invitation to the Masters, a locker in the Champions locker room, access to the members-only driving range, and an annual invitation to the Champions dinner. And then the last thing I wanted to point out, and again, I know I'm boring the hell out of you with this stuff, but I love this. This is what it's like at the Masters. Sandwiches, egg salad, $1.50.
Yeah.
Pimento cheese, $1.50. Pork barbecue sandwich, $3. Masters Club, $3. Chicken salad on honey wheat, $3. Ham and cheese on rye, $3. Classic chicken, $3. All the breakfast sandwiches, $2. Except and $2 for the mixed fruit, $2 for the coffee. Soft drinks are $2. Bottled water, $2. I mean, they are stuck in time. Chips, $1.50. I mean, we got to go to this thing. I mean, this is like
beer's only $5.
You spend all your money on the ticket, but and there's no cameras,
no cameras, no phones,
no phones. So you can't do anything. But there is something so I know that it's Augusta, Georgia. No one thinks of Augusta, Georgia as the place to be, but there's something so magical and special about this tournament. And that's what I had. Gee, anything else you wanted to add to this?
Yeah, I mean, even though he had 4 bogeys, the thing that doubles, the thing that wins it for him is the fact that on the holes he needed to play well, he hit the good wedge and he hit the putt. And that's been the knock on him all these years. He'll drive the hell out of the ball. He'll hit great irons. But when it comes time with Rory, is he going to hit the wedge shot? Is he going to make the putt to win it? And he did it on 18, but he did it in the first playoff hole.
On 18?
No, but you know what I mean.
Absolutely. No, same hole. That's what I'm saying. Same exact hole, similar shot, and he hit
it. And that's when it comes down to golf at this level, that's what makes the difference between these guys. This week he was able to do it. I'm not against Rory, by the way.
I know you. I'm just messing with you.
He's one of the, listen, he's a top 5 golfer in the world. I don't hate him, but in this particular match, I was rooting against him because I thought Justin Rose was a great story on that final day. I really did. The way he came back to play that.
Hey, listen, if I had Rose to win and not Rose top 10, I would have been all over it with you, G. But since I had him in the top 10, it didn't matter as much.
The way that Rory was so shaky in that final round where, there were 2 or 3 holes go a different way. 18's not even a question. It's done.
13. 13 was the one that was inexcusable.
He plays, par golf on some of these holes. 18's not even a question mark for him at that point. But listen, it was a great finale. Again, there's something watching the Masters the whole time. I watched many hours Saturday, many hours Sunday. It's just different. It's a different golf tournament than everything else. It really is. So.
You know what? It's also the first one, right? It gets you into the mood for golf of the year. It's not the first tournament, but the first major. It's the first one where you actually have appointment television for. And I think there's something special about it also in that respect.
I think you're right.
May's a PGA now. That's the one that sort of is forgotten. June, Father's Day weekend. It was always
kind of forgotten, but now it's worse because they want the FedEx Cup to be the big thing.
Yep. Yeah,
and because it used to be August, and you'd have that last major, but now the last major is the British.
Yep,
which is really forgotten because it starts at 3 a.m.
We love it.
Yeah, I mean, wake up at 5. I watch it for an hour before I go to work, and then on the weekends, I'm able to tune in.
It is the hardest though to keep track of as we're going through the 4 days though. That is a great point though.
And the funniest thing is for me, and it only happens once every few years, but I love it when the U.S. Opens on the West Coast. I get to come home from work and watch some golf, which I love. I love like getting home at 5, and there's still guys on the course for another 3 hours. when they did it out in Chambers Bay, or they do it at Pebble, or they do it, somewhere on the West Coast. It's always great. But again, we'll get to that more, and that's not for another like 4 years till they're out west again. But I love that stuff.
All right, let's move it over to the NBA. So we have the 6 teams in both leagues that are
seven now. Both 7 teams won last night. Yep.
I was going there. The 7
sorry.
That's right. The 7 team made it in yesterday. Orlando gets in. The Warriors get in. That's a 7 team in each. And now we have the little playoff going on for the 8th. Games today, games tomorrow to figure out who the 8th seed is.
The round robin.
Kev, you want to talk to me about some NBA? We'll start it with you.
Well, we'll start with the Knicks. We know they're playing the Pistons, the 3-6 matchup. And really, when you take a look at the other teams there, the Pacers were 4, the Bucks were 5, and the Pistons were 6. I think the Pistons give the Knicks the best matchup, or in favor of the Knicks. Great story with the Pistons. 21-22, they won 23 games. Then they were down to 17. They were down to 14 wins last year. That's 54 wins the last 3 years. And this year they go out and win 44 games. Tremendous turnaround. They've got one of the really, really terrific young players in Cade Cunningham. 26 points a game, 9 assists, 5 rebounds. And does it night in, night out for this team. They've got some guys, some veterans that have been around for a while. Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley is the second leading scorer. He's averaging 16 a game off the bench. They've got Tobias Harris, Dennis Schroeder off the bench. So they do have some veterans. But I think this is a team that, as a whole, just hasn't been there yet. Especially going from 14 wins to 44. I think this is a matchup that the Knicks can take advantage of as long as they contain Cunningham. If they don't let him go crazy and score 35, 40 points a game, I think the Knicks can match up very well in the series. I think the Knicks have been there, done that the last few years. If the Pistons win a game, I think they're lucky. I think maybe, if everything goes well for the Knicks, they win 1 or 2 at home. They'll lose 3 or 4 at Detroit, win the other one, and come back to the Garden and win game 5. I think they can and should win in 5. I think that would be so important moving ahead in the playoffs, because we know Tibbs only plays 7 guys, I think, in the playoffs. These guys are going to be playing heavy minutes. You want as much rest as possible. Like I said, I think personally this is the best matchup. It would have been a lot more difficult if it was the Bucks or the Pacers.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%, Kev.
Yeah, I mean, also what happens with Detroit is, like, they've got some bigs, but they're not really offensive threats that are going to expose Cat defensively. And you don't have to, because of the size of Cunningham, you don't have to put Brunson on him. You can put Brunson on a wing, and now you can sit there with Anunoby and Bridges taking turns on Cunningham to slow him down. And I think that helps. The other guys are spot-up shooters. I think the loss of Royale Ivy really hurts this team.
Oh, yeah.
He's a scorer, and he got hurt earlier in the year. Again, I think the Knicks should roll. I think I think the interesting series is the 4-5 in this one, because I think Indiana and Milwaukee, and I know that Milwaukee's going to be missing Lillard to start. He's banged up, but I think Milwaukee wins this series, and I think that we're going to have I think Milwaukee versus Cleveland, and I think the Knicks against Boston, and that's kind of where we figure out what kind of season the Knicks are going to have this year.
I mean, do you see any chance of the Cavs or the Celtics going past 5 games also?
No, I don't. I'd be stunned if they went 5. I don't think
sweeps are very much on the table.
I think sweeps are on the table for both teams, and it's not that Orlando is just they're missing something. Miami obviously missing something with the trade of Butler, and I have Miami just penciled in right now because they're up 16 on Chicago, but that could change. I mean, they have to play Atlanta tomorrow. So it could be Atlanta too, but I just don't think either one of those teams pose a threat to Cleveland. The Cleveland we saw during the regular season. What Cleveland's going to do in the playoffs is going to be, we don't know. They haven't proven themselves to be a playoff juggernaut yet, but we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see what they bring.
All right. Out west.
The West is
going to be, wow.
I mean, Golden State, Houston right away, 7-2. Well, I think the 7's better, and you get the Draymond versus Brooks matchup right away where they hate each other. And it's going to be Butler and Curry against, these great young players on Houston. It's going to be a really cool series. The blueprint was given last year by Boston on how to beat Luka. Let's see if Minnesota can execute it. Yep. If you make Luka play defense. Now, here's the thing. Boston also throws out Tatum, and Boston throws out Brown, and Boston throws out White, and Boston throws out a bunch of guys that can score. Will Minnesota be able to match that? But if they can force Luka to play defense, now we see what happens to them in the short series. But the Lakers, you feel like they're in good shape. The Clippers have been one of the hottest teams out there. They're going to open up.
Hot.
Yeah, and they're going to open up against the best player in the world, and Jokic, and a new coach.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. That was shocking.
Yeah. And I don't see any chance of the 8 doing anything against the 1. I think the only 7 or 8 that has a shot is Golden State, in my opinion. And Golden State versus the Lakers in the second round, if that happens, would be a lot of fun to see if it's the Butler Curry or the LeBron Doncic combo that's more lethal. It's just fun.
Sadly, I have to root for Curry.
I'll be rooting all over Golden State, and I think Curry ruined the NBA. One of the 3 guys, him, LeBron, and Popovich. There are 3 people I think ruined the NBA. Those are them.
Yep, I'm in full agreement with you there.
The 3 on none fast break, pull up from 3. There you go. The easy bucket doesn't matter. But so we're going to get more into the NBA playoffs as it happens. But we got a lot of cool things there.
When the series start, we'll be posting
and predicting
about the playoffs, and all 3 of us will be predicting on our Facebook posts.
Exactly.
Yep, absolutely.
One last point in the NBA, actually 2. Isaiah Thomas goes off on LeBron for warming up without a shirt on prior to the game, just saying how unprofessional and what are we doing here and what the hell's going on. Isaiah's been known to throw a punch during the game, but apparently he didn't like LeBron warming up without a shirt on. I don't disagree with the fact that you should have a little bit of decorum out there, but I think the world is different. I think that I agree with Isaiah to an extent. I was just surprised he made such a big deal about it.
Were there fans in the stands yet? Was it close to game time, or was it an hour before the game?
Not really. It was about an hour before. There really wasn't anybody there.
I mean, there's nobody there. I mean, as much as I want to knock James every chance I can, that's just not worth picking on him. If it was 5 minutes before the game and he's out there warming up without his uniform on,
I agree.
That'd be a lot different.
Yeah, Isaiah went off. Second thing, the Phoenix Suns fired Mike Budenholzer, okay? 1 season into a 5-year, $50 million contract. So they owe him $40 million. They still owe Frank Vogel $24 million. They owed Monty Williams $20, but I think a lot of that got waived when he got hired by Detroit. So I don't know the exact final number, but I don't know what Phoenix is trying to do with coaches. But I've never seen $64 million at least owed to 2 different guys over the next couple of years. And you bring Budenholzer in a 5-year deal, you give him 1 year. I understand that it didn't work out, and I'm sure it had a lot to do with his battles with Bradley Beal. But I'm a little surprised that they didn't give him a shot, guys. I thought that they would give him at least 2 years to see what he could do.
Oh yeah, especially with a 5-year contract. Yeah,
it just seemed like it was a little quick. And that was what I have for the NBA.
All right, let's move over to the NHL. So Rangers and Islanders both knocked out. In the East, Montreal, two points up on Columbus. Montreal playing right now. They were up 3-2 on Carolina with about 3 minutes left. So a win and they clinch, and that
or
would
a tie. Even a tie clinches.
Right. They would have the 8 seed.
Overtime loss, any point.
Yep.
Any point.
Out west, Minnesota and St. Louis get in.
Don't get me started. Yeah.
Darren?
All right. Hockey. For the first time, no original American team of the original 6 has made the playoffs ever. 83 years.
Yep.
And for the first time since 67, we do not have the Bruins or the Red Wings in at the same time. So it's usually you get one of those two. It's made it every year since 67. So this is not a year of legendary matchups and exciting first-round matchups. I'm going to get to the West in a minute. Right now, what it looks like is Ottawa, Toronto. It looks like Florida, Tampa, which will be a battle. Mm-hmm. Okay, Colorado, Dallas, which is one you can look forward to. LA, Edmonton. Let's go LA. Devils, Hurricanes, the only local flavor, but it's hard for me to imagine the Devils competing without Hughes.
Yeah.
Washington versus Montreal, most likely if they don't give up 2 goals in the last 3 minutes. And then out west, we got Vegas, Minnesota, and then Winnipeg. First time they've ever won the President's Cup, okay? They get St. Louis. So that's the matchups. None of these are household matchups, but think about Winnipeg, St. Louis. We get Binnington, Hellebuck, first time since the tournament. We got those two playing against each other again. And it was a pretty exciting tournament with the U.S. versus Canada. So
Yep, it
it's
was
just something to bring in. But the interesting part of this one is now one represents an American team, and the one that was representing Canada, and the one that was representing Canada now represents a Canadian team. Thought it was a little bit interesting. Columbus trying to do it for Johnny. It looks like they're going to come up short, G. And then just to talk about the Calgary Flames and their league high 14 overtime losses. One less of those, and tomorrow night's game would have meant something. But Dallas scored with 22 seconds left last night, down 2-1, where that knocked them out. Because even if they would have tied last night, even if they, I'm sorry, not even if they tied, if they would have held on, if Anaheim would have held on for the last 22 seconds, the Flames would have gotten in with a win tomorrow. So this is what life is as a Flame fan. But I can't complain too much. They had a much better season than we expected. Like I said, I mean, I guess Colorado, Dallas, Florida, Tampa, they're probably two of the best first-round matchups you can really look at right now.
I would say so.
Yeah. So, again, we're going to make our predictions.
Yep.
We're going to start that tomorrow. As soon as we know who wins Montreal, we'll start putting those up and get those out.
All right.
Just a shame without Rounders, without Rangers, it's just very lacking. And the Devils, like you said, without Hughes, just you feel like they're going to be a one and done here.
Yeah, there's no appointment. There's no appointment playoff TV. We're hockey fans. We're going to put it on. We're going to watch, but it's not going to be like, oh, I got to get home for this one. Oh, I got to make sure I want to be in front of the TV as this game starts. It's going to be catching moments here and there because there's just no local flavor.
It's really going to be the somebody or one or two teams during the playoffs start to do something incredible that catches our interest. That's going to be the NHL's going to need to hook us in to watch all these games.
That's a good point, Kev.
Rather than just, it's fine, I'll throw it on in the background.
I mean, just think about it. There's no New York. There's no Philly to root against. There's no Boston to root against. I'm just saying as a New Yorker, right?
Yep.
You just don't have some Chicago, Detroit, teams that were like legendary teams. You just don't have these huge markets that you kind of rely on. And though Dallas is a big market, Miami's a big market, I'm not trying to say they're not. LA being the only real big market, and Toronto obviously up in Canada, it's just not the same. It just loses something when it's Carolina and Tampa and Winnipeg and Denver and Edmonton. These are not Ottawa. These are not markets where people have huge fan bases that travel. And that's what, listen, hopefully we get good playoffs. Hopefully we get some good game sevens that we know we're going to tune in for. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right. Let's head over to a little baseball. Kev, want to start us with a little Met talk?
Yeah, Mets lost the series this week to Minnesota 2-1. They lost 4-3 in 10 innings today after coming back and tying the game late.
They got robbed in this game because there was a play at first where he was out and they had no challenges left. He got a safe call. Budo went to argue it, and the runner scored from second on the ground out. They got robbed a little bit today.
Yeah, but still, it's the offense. I mean, the pitching's been fine, despite, Canning had to miss today because he was sick. They had to open with Brazaban, and then called up today was Hagenman.
Yeah.
8 runs and 10 innings in the minor leagues this year. He gets a call up because they just needed an arm. He actually gave him 3 innings. Just what you needed from a filling guy. 1 run. I mean, he pitched fine. He'll be demoted. Stearns, did the right thing here. He demoted Kranick today to bring up Hagenman. Tomorrow, he can then put Siri on the DL and replace him with Kranick. So, just one of those little smart things that I'm sure most general managers would do. But, that's just making sure you know the rules of manipulating your roster properly.
I did it perfectly.
Yep. That being said, it's a batting. I mean, you take a look, Alonso, we know how great he's been so far this year. 365 he's up to now. 5 home runs, 21 RBIs. Next highest RBI guy on the team, Nimmo with 9. Next best batting average, Torrens, 275.
You got Soto coming out and complaining that he's not getting pitched the same way he did last year. You can't do that.
Yeah,
you're making that much money. You're the highest paid player in baseball. Don't do that.
And with that
I know Soto's going to hit and he's going to be great. I'm not trying to say that, but just watch your step because the Met crowd will boo you. They'll boo you in the second and a half. This is not a they're not a warm-hearted group. They'll come right after you if you start acting up.
We saw it with Beltran. It took Beltran a long time to recover from Wainwright's curveball.
And on the shoulder.
Yep. Nimmo, Lindor, Soto, they're going to hit. The big thing is going to be, Vientos needs to get over his early season issues here. And to me, a guy like Vientos, 9 walks, 14 strikeouts, and 62 at-bats. So it's not like he's flailing away and looking hopeless up there. I think he's hit some bad luck. I think his luck is going to have to turn around here.
He's got to lay off that slider away. It reminds me of Soriano a little bit sometimes, though. He steps in that bucket trying to jack a slider away out a lot.
Yep.
And you're right. It hasn't been awful, but in a couple of big spots, he's tried to do it.
Yep. I mean, it's not 62 at bats with 24 strikeouts where he looks lost. That's what I'm trying to say. To me, it's give the kid a chance. He had a terrific year last year. We're 3 weeks into the season. Just a matter of getting some of these offensive guys on track. And with all that, I see a lot of Met fans complaining, this team sucks. They can't hit. They can't do this. They haven't played the strongest schedule. They're off to an 11-7 start. I'll take that. Nothing wrong with that.
No, absolutely. They're playing well, and their runs are given up against them, and the Padres are the 2 best in baseball. Yep. And Senga looked great. I know it's Oakland, but Oakland's offense is pretty good. By the way, Montreal just won, so they clinched it.
Montreal's in. Okay.
Montreal's in, by the way, guys. Oakland's offense is fine. It's just that they don't have a lot of pitching. So, I mean, they look Senga looked great on Sunday. Great on Sunday.
He went 7, which was big.
Absolutely. And he looked unhittable. I mean, and the leading home run hitter in baseball right now resides on that Athletics team at Soderstrom. So it's or Soderstrom, however you pronounce it. He should be a defenseman on Detroit, but instead he's playing first base for the Athletics. He seems like a big Swede to me. But anyway, beside that, playing real well in that respect. Lindor's going to hit. Soto's going to hit. And they're going to need that because at some point Pete's going to slow down. Yeah. So someone's going to have to carry the team the rest of the way. But you got to love what you're seeing from the pitching staff right now.
I agree. Again, 3 weeks in, usually for me, the first time I want to look at this, really look at how a team is performing is the end of May. So at least you get 5-6 weeks in before you're really starting to look at who's playing how. I mean, these guys are going to go through 3-week stretches where they're not good throughout the entire season. So, I don't want to overreact. I think Vientos, he needs to hit. I think the Met lineup needs him to hit.
Yep.
But at the moment, there's enough that they're getting through, even without a lot of the names you talked about really playing well. So at 11-6 or 7, whatever it is, let's just I want everybody to hold on a little bit because we're way too early in the season.
Exactly.
You can't worry yet.
20 games yet. So let's,
and your Yankees?
Listen, you know what? Judge hit his 7th tonight. They give him the win, actually. His on base is 500, though. I mean, I know he hadn't hit a homer in 10 games, but he's getting on. He's hitting. They pitch around him a ton. Rodon's been good. I mean, he lost the game against San Francisco because Lee got him twice, but he looked great in that game, except for that bad pitch to Lee, the 2 bad pitches to Lee. He looked good. Clark Schmidt came back 2 years ago. I'd never sit there and say, wow, thank God Clark Schmidt is back, but here he is. Fried has been the ace that we need so far. He's been, every time you need him, he comes out. They just swept the Royals. I know it's not the greatest team in baseball, but you get a sweep, I'll take it. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday sweep against the Royals, you take it. After losing 2 out of 3 to the Giants. There's a lot to like. I mean, about what you've seen. Dominguez starting to hit. Even though had a bonehead play tonight where he didn't slide into second and they overturned the call on him because he's a moron. But, just slide into second. You would have been safe. Grisham, streaky, as you remember as a Met fan watching him in that playoff series. When Grisham gets it going, he gets it going. Bellinger hasn't hit yet. They're still winning. Goldschmidt's getting singles only, still winning. Chisholm's got 6 homers, tied for 3rd in the league with a bunch of other guys, but he's still hitting like 200. Volpe got a big hit tonight. I mean, they have enough guys. The lineup looks like it's lengthening. G. That's what I'm really trying to say. If Dominguez hits, the lineup looks like it has more length.
I will tell you this though, I hate all these different lineups. Guys flipping, flopping all over the place. Boone, come up with something that you want to do and let's do it.
Well, Boone and Cashman suck. We've gone over this for years.
Goldschmidt hitting 5, hitting 1. They don't know where he's hitting. Chisholm hitting behind Judge, which I hate. I know he's got 6 home. I don't care. Volpe. How did Volpe become a 5 hitter all of a sudden?
He isn't.
Listen. I know Dominguez has not come out like a house on fire, so he's at the bottom part of the lineup.
He's
right
fun to hit though.
Okay, I know it's okay.
He's up to 275.
But yeah, I just hate. I hate the whole. Goldschmidt, Bellinger, Judge, Chisholm. We don't know where the hell these guys are. Who's one? Come on, Boone. Start getting this lineup together. Pitchings look good. I mean, the way Fried and Rodon have come out and pitched is phenomenal. Clark Schmidt tonight wasn't great, but was good. Got through.
First start of the year, I'll take that all day long.
Me too. I agree. That's exactly what I was going to say. And then the bullpen is going to be the bullpen. I mean, let's everybody give Devin Williams a break in the first month of the season. There were many a season where Rivera looked a little shaky in the first month of the season, and everybody was having a conniption.
Oh, it's over now. The Mariano thing's over.
And then he rattled off, 25 of 27 saves the rest of the year. So, listen, I like the way they're playing. They have 11 wins also. So
they're 11-7 also. Yeah.
It's not get carried away.
Surprises. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You first.
So surprise records at this point in the season right now. On the good side, San Diego 14-4.
Nice win today again.
Phenomenal.
Only one loss at home, by the way.
Yeah, and on the bad side, Atlanta at 5-12. Just wow.
Lost again today. It was what's his face's first start back. Why am I blanking on his name? Strider. They're
5-13 now, and this is a team that started off losing their first 7 games too.
Yeah.
Interesting stats on the batting side.
Go ahead.
The leading hitter in the baseball going into today was Jonathan Aranda, hitting .413. And right behind him, Brandon Donovan of the Cardinals, 382. Those are the 2 hottest hitters in baseball. Home run leader, I mentioned Tyler Soderstrom. 9, Judge now second, but then you have Carroll, Tatis, Chisholm, Trout, and James Wood all with 6. Wilmer Flores led the league in ribbies coming into today with 21. Figured I'd throw that out to you, Kev. And O'Neal Cruz is actually leading the league in stolen bases, not Ellie.
Shocking.
And the guys right behind him, Peter Crow Armstrong, who I've been touting for a long time because I need him to steal bases, and Mangum, who you picked up this week, Kev. Pitching is so early to say. So
I picked him up. He goes 0 for 10.
Yep, absolutely.
But
he stole a base.
That's having 8 guys out injured.
It's crazy.
You don't want to know who's cold in baseball? Look at my fantasy team. Everybody's cold.
Or injured.
Or injured, one or the other. If they were playing well, they're on the IL. I'm looking at you, Jackson Merrill.
And the guy that's carrying the Dodgers is Smith, the catcher. He's been unbelievable so far. I mean, it really hasn't been neither Ohtani, Freeman, nor Betts is hitting 300.
Freeman is out also with the ankle.
Yeah, he came back.
Shower. He's out for a week and a half.
And then, but Will Smith is on base 475. He's been pretty good.
Yep.
All right. Let's move over. Any NFL points?
Well, we're going to do the draft next week. We're going to do the draft is next week. We're going to do a first 12, okay? And the reason why we're going to do a first 12 is so we each have to make 4 picks. It's not really no random thing, but it covers, I think, Pittsburgh and Dallas at 11 and 12 or something like Dallas is 12. So we get up to the teams that we don't like all the way through.
Yeah.
We're just
we'll
going to give
bonus,
you.
And maybe Gino will throw a bonus pick in.
Gino will throw in a Washington pick for later. And, the whole idea behind it is we're just going to tell you where we think it's going to go. We're not going to talk ahead of time about where it is, so we'll have to discover on the fly a little bit, but we'll have 2 or 3 picks ready to make them. It will not be a long segment, but it will be something that just gives you a little idea of where we're going with it.
Do either of you make anything out of the fact that the Giants went to Colorado for a private workout with Shador?
No, I think it's Hunter. I don't think.
I think it's
I
both.
think it's Travis Hunter.
You got to play. You got to be out there for both. You don't want to tip your hand right now.
Well,
And
Yeah, but they're not taking Shador at 3. They're not with the signings they just made. No way.
yeah,
so if
they'd have to go.
two-
They have to go Hunter there.
excuse me. If Hunter goes 2 and is not there at 3, do you think they're thinking about Shador at that point or no?
I think they're taking Abdul Carter in a heartbeat. I think they race up to take Abdul Carter.
Yeah, I think if they get by 2, well, I don't see Cleveland going Sanders too. We'll talk about it more next week. But I think Sanders could definitely start sliding down the board a little bit.
I think Abdul Carter goes 2, and I think that Hunter goes 3. That's what I think. But we'll get into it next week, and we'll get more into that. Speaking of Shador Sanders, and I'm going to save this for college football, but I want to make this little point real quick. So Colorado's retiring the jerseys of both Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter. Shador Sanders was 13-12 with an 8th place Heisman win. Tim Tebow, you may not have loved him as a quarterback, won 2 national championships and a Heisman. His jersey's not retired. But Shador Sanders on a 13-12 record, his jersey's retired. You got to be kidding me. Listen, I know he's the coach's son and all this other stuff, but they've won a national championship under Bill McCartney. It's not like Colorado hasn't had success. It's not like they haven't had other Heisman winners with Rashaan Salam. It's not like any of that. You're telling me that this guy deserves to have his jersey retired? You got to be kidding me. Maybe you want to say it for Travis Hunter. I won't argue it, but this is a joke. One man's a 13-12.
I mean, Cordell Stewart did more for Colorado than Shador Sanders, and his jersey's not retired. He won 2 bowl games and led them to a much better record.
13-12. Anyway, I'm sorry. I had other college football points, but since we were talking about Shador, G, I had to
go into college now too.
Okay,
you might as well just combine football now.
Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
Nico Imamova, okay. So he's getting.
Could you repeat
that? I always fuck up his last name. She's my language.
So do I.
He's getting $2 million. Holds out for more. Doesn't show up for practice. Flies out to L.A. Tennessee finds out about it from Oregon coach Dan Lanning, apparently, saying that Nico's out looking for order. He calls Heupel. Heupel says we're not going to deal with this saga anymore. Cuts him from the team.
Yep.
And Nico thinks he's getting $4 million from USC, who does not offer a thing. So now we don't even know, because every team now they have income, and everybody's paid their quarterback now. All right, everybody's paid money to their quarterback. We just had spring practices, guys.
Yeah,
everybody knows who their quarterback is, and they're paying him. So who has $2 or $3 million extra to make that change and have $1 million quarterback sitting on the bench? I don't know. Now Nico, for all the things we liked about him, and he played with the cracked helmet in the bowl game, and he was the only one that seemed to show up against Ohio State. Apparently, he didn't want to show up. Apparently, he asked for more money before those games were played. Him and other players, not just him and not just his team. But Nico thought because they made a playoff that he should have gotten more money. Basically it's all from his dad, Nick, who seems to be LeVar Ball without the personality, right? I mean, he has nothing to add. But he seems to be LeVar Ball without any kind of, anything fun about him. Something's got to change here, guys. The college football, there's got to be either a salary cap, there's got to be contracts these guys have to sign. There's got to be something. Because now Nico was like 9th in QBR out of the 16 quarterbacks in the SEC last year. Yeah. 9th. I mean, he's a very good quarterback. We all think he's going to be a very good quarterback. He was 9th. It wasn't like he was the best quarterback in the SEC. He was not. So I don't know who's making the offer. There was rumor of Tulane. They dropped out. Tulane dropped out. UCLA is another rumored school. I mean, but I don't know who's going to sign this kid. He's going to get less. He's going to come back out of here with under $2 million, in my opinion, barring an injury to somebody, which may be what he's banking on, guys. Kev, thoughts on this? It's crazy.
Number one, I'm not a big Josh Heupel fan, but good for him for standing up to this and not dealing with it. Number two, from Nico's point of view, and from all these guys also, you're paying for NIL, not per game. This is your NIL. And if you don't want to stay with your team and you start holding up for more money or wanting more money to play extra games or this or that, what these other colleges, are these players going to accept him as their quarterback, knowing that he may be unhappy at the drop of a hat and may want to quit on them too? Does that play into it at all? I mean, he was making over $2 million.
They might like their quarterback on that school, and the replacement of the quarterback could cause animosity among some of the players. That's the one thing I think about too.
Yeah. I don't know, especially this late in the game. It's ridiculous what he did. If he wants to go somewhere, if he's unhappy, they've got the transfer window. Go into the portal. Don't wait till now and do this crap. And try to
that's
hold
where
out.
He is now. He's in the portal.
Yeah,
the second portal.
Hopefully late.
The second portal.
The whole thing's a mess. I mean, this is exactly once and again. Years ago we talked about this, not on the podcast, but we talked about it. Once you open the window, it's open. This is it. Once you go down this road, you can't turn around.
Yep.
And now they're gonna have to come up with something. And I have a feeling it's something exactly what Darren mentioned, which is they're going to come up with some kind of contract that they're going to have to put into play for these players so that what happens when the portal opens doesn't happen anymore. Because you can't have 1,500 kids go into the transfer portal and be switching teams, and it's every year and nobody knows, and it's just a mess. But listen, we talked about pros and cons years ago. Once this door gets opened, you can't close it. But they're going to have to come up with something, because you can't have this what's been going on every year. You just can't. You can't have 1,300 kids changing teams every year.
And not only that, but the timing of it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
For football, it's right in the middle of bowl season. Nobody wants to play these bowl games. All these bowls have become meaningless at this point. College basketball, right in the middle of the tournament, the portal is open. And Izzo's the one that made the point. I'm worried about coaching my kids in the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8. I'm not worried about who's in the transfer portal right now. So that puts him behind the 8 ball when they finally get a chance, when their season finally ends. Guys who just lost late in the tournament, and within a couple of hours they're in the portal.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you had the example. I forget who it was.
13 minutes with the Vanderbilt kid. 13 minutes with the Vanderbilt kid.
Darren,
some of that has changed.
St. John's.
Well, two other lighter side points here with college football. Number one, for my friend Kevin, Notre Dame will now start selling alcohol at football, basketball, and hockey games.
Woohoo! Just what we need, a bunch of drunk Irishmen.
And number two, I saw something about the late, great Mike Leach, one of the fun guys for college football over the years. Mike Leach was talked down from lining up a little person in the backfield and then throwing them over the line of scrimmage in short yardage situations. Now, obviously, here's the point. Other than the optics of what this would look like, don't you think it probably would work?
It's just a variation of the tush push, right?
Work. I mean, but Mike Leach, who's the red gun offense, the whole thing, the spread offense at Texas Tech, brought all that stuff in, all the 5 wide stuff. Wanted to get a little person just to throw over the line of scrimmage. I just thought it was funny. I had never seen that before. Obviously, he's been passed away. He's been gone a couple of years, and that just struck me. And I was like, "Oh my God!" I have to bring that up because I thought it was great.
That's funny.
I thought it was a pretty good one. And then we'll go to St. John's right now. We might as well stick in the college world.
Yep.
St. John's now has added 3 strong transfers. After today, they got Uzziah Sellers from Stanford. They already had Jason Sanan from Arizona State and Bryce Hopkins from Providence. 3 4-star, transfer guys that are all known to shoot, which might help the problem from last year. And the other thing was R.J. Lewis did speak out about how hurt he was by the benching in the last 6 minutes against Arkansas and how he thought he deserved the opportunity to go back out there. So
that's fair.
I don't think he's wrong.
Absolutely fair.
And up to this point, as of yesterday, there were over 2,000 people in the portal. More players went in today. That number is going to be – so when you say 1,300, G, the football, how many kids are on a football team compared to a basketball team, that number's got to be closer to $3,000. I don't know the number off the top of my head. I didn't research it this week. But, yeah, I mean, over 2,000 in the college basketball portal. You don't even know who your team is.
No, that's it. You have no idea.
Absolutely. So I'm not going to go into all the portal, the pickups, but I just want to talk about St. John's real quick.
All right. We've gone around the sports world. Anything else, Darren?
I got two quick things. Number one, I'm going to do a minor league baseball thing. The Albuquerque Isotopes did something I'd never seen before, and I watched the video. They scored 3 runs on a bases-loaded walk. The catcher had a bad throw back to the pitcher, so the guy that got the third scored. Then the guy that was on first was trying to go to third. They threw it over the third baseman's head, and he scored. So on a walk with the bases loaded, the Isotopes put 3 in.
Wow.
Yeah, I just thought that was an interesting stat.
Yeah, that's funny.
And
Very
then,
good. That's
and
a
then
nice
horse
job.
racing, which is just a small one. First horse has dropped out. Owen Almighty is now running on the same day, but he's running in the Pat Day Mile instead of the Derby. So now we'll see Flying Mohawk be the 85-1 shot that will be running out of whatever post they draw. We're still a couple of weeks away from the Derby, and we'll get more into that as we go.
So if he's running the Pat Day Mile, that probably is trying to line him up for the Preakness.
You got it. Well, it's a shorter race, and this is a speed horse. So you're taking one of the front runners out, but a front runner that finished 6th in Keeneland. So he wasn't able to hold it there. So they might want to just kind of rest him for the extra week, run the Pat Day Mile, not lengthening him out to the Derby, and then bringing him back for the Preakness. You're right, Kev. It's the shortest of the 3 races. So where a front runner usually has a decent shot at the Preakness.
I have one more thing I want to add, and that is: have either of you seen Banana Ball?
I have.
I've seen it on TV.
It's crazy.
Okay, so this is pure entertainment. This is a baseball. We all agree on it. It's okay.
It's Wolf Riders.
Listen, one of the funniest things I saw when I actually was flipping through on this was, do you know the game can end if there's 2 outs in the 9th and a ball is hit into the stands?
Yep.
If
And the fan catches it.
The fan has to catch it, though.
Yes.
But the umpires are doing flips when they're making calls. It's wild. It is fun. I was in Saratoga last year, and I went out to steakhouse with my dad afterwards, and it was on over my father's head. And I'd never seen it before, and I couldn't stop. I was ignoring my father because it was like something I had never seen before. And he was like, "What are you looking at?" I'm like, "Dad, I don't even know what I'm looking at. I didn't know what it was." I said, "It's baseball." I thought it was like a This Week in Baseball highlight thing. Then I realized, no, these 2 teams are playing. And pitchers are throwing with weird motions, and guys are doing flips as they're making throws to first. I'm like, what the heck's going on? It's pretty wild, though. It's very wild.
Behind their back, it's seed, man.
It's pure entertainment.
Every game they play is sold out. They're doing something right. Very entertaining. Harlem Globetrotter-like for baseball. And you know what? They're always on when ESPN does their Ocho shows every couple of months. You know, the Bananas are going to be on there for 2 hours.
It's fun stuff.
Pure entertainment, but fun, I will tell you.
Yep.
For the 15 minutes I had it on, I was entertained.
It is. It's hard to look away, actually. It's weird, but it's hard to look away, right?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, guys, you have anything else before we wrap it up?
Nope.
No,
we covered a lot, but we did it relatively quickly. We are the Sports Case from Queens. Darren here with Kevin here with Gino, talking about the wonderful, wild, and wacky world of sports. A wacky world where a guy gets to take the same shot twice on the same hole within like 15 minutes and wins the biggest tournament of his life. Please download the podcast anywhere you can get a podcast, whether it be an Apple product, Spotify, TuneIn, whatever you like, Audio Boom. We post a lot of stuff on social media. Like it, and please share it. We want to get it out to other people. So if you like what you see, share it. If you don't like what you see, share it anyway and pretend you liked it. And without any further ado, may your sports be with you.